Before I start this review, I just want to let you guys know that I think I'm coming down with some kind of bug. I'm sick or something. I'm starting to lose my voice, so I don't have my trademark energy and excitement that I would normally have talking about a movie like Rogue One. Disclaimers out of the way, let's get this shit started. Rogue One is a Star Wars spin-off story that takes place right before Episode 4. If you've seen A New Hope, you know exactly what this movie is about. This tells the story of how a group of rebels led by a character named Jyn Erso are able to infiltrate a certain area to steal some plans for the Death Star weapon, which is in construction in this movie. It literally ends a few minutes before A New Hope. So this is telling the plan of how the rebels got the Death Star plans. I was prepared for a lot of things going into this movie. One of the things I was not prepared for was how weird it would be to not see the opening crawl. I mean, yeah, technically the whole movie is an opening crawl sequence. If you look at the opening crawl for A New Hope, the story for this movie is right there in like the second paragraph or something. But still, I'm just saying, it was kind of weird. So if the purpose of this movie was to try to create a story that feels a little bit more self-contained, a story that feels grounded, more of a war movie, mission fucking accomplished, guys. Mission fucking accomplished. This movie was awesome. I love the feel of this movie. I love the fact that it stands on its own and it doesn't have to rely on connecting or referencing every other Star Wars thing ever in all the other movies. Yeah, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to notice certain things. You're going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. Or, oh, yeah, oh, that's really awesome. But I don't think you have to be a fan to get it. And I don't think that those references and those homages that they pay, I don't think they take away from the movie at all. And I don't think that they do it to the point where it becomes obnoxious. This is a movie that serves as connective tissue to A New Hope, but also does a good job of standing on its own 2 feet. Some quality H2O. I love the action and the way it was filmed in this movie. Everything is big. The cinematography is on point. Gareth Edwards does a really great job of framing shots to fill the entire screen. He did this with Godzilla. It's how he was able to make Godzilla and the buildings look so big. Everything in this movie is as big and as epic as it needs to be. The action sequences, from the shootouts on the ground to the space battles, they just look better than I think any space battle or action sequence in Star Wars history has looked. I love the production value for this movie too. Everything looks gritty, everything looks dirty, everything looks filled in and it looks used. It's kind of a dirty, futuristic, real place. Felicity Jones was great as Jyn Erso. I really liked her character. Her character is given the most backstory and her character is given the most depth of the characters in the movie. She's a former rebel extremist. Over the course of the movie, her arc evolves and changes to the point where you can definitely get behind her character. You definitely believe in what she's doing at the end of the movie. There are a lot of other fun character moments too. Donnie Yen's character in this movie has a couple of really badass moments. So does his friend. So does Captain Cassian, the guy who's working with Jyn Erso on her mission. There's a droid who is a lot of fun in this movie, K2SO. He's a former Imperial droid who is used for the rebels, and he is really cool in this movie. He has some really funny one-liners. In the end, this movie feels like a great space adventure, but it also feels the most like a war movie that I think any Star Wars movie has ever felt like. Which is weird for a franchise called Star Wars, but this movie actually feels like a war movie. There are spies, I mean, there's assassinations, there's dirt on both sides, honestly, and that's what I love about the way this war was depicted. But the rebels are not always squeaky clean, and they sometimes have to do horrible, terrible things in order to facilitate their side getting a win. Darth Vader is in this movie, and I just have to say, yes. It was so great to see Vader back. He has a couple of moments in this movie that just made me want to stand up and join the dark side. Darth Vader was amazing in the scenes that he was in. There is one scene in particular that is probably the most terrifying scene that we've ever seen from Vader on the big screen. You'll have to see it to find out what it is. There actually is a surprising lack of character development in this movie. The characters are fine and they're fun and they all kick ass at different points, but outside of Jyn Erso, there's really not a great reason for me to care or root for or feel invested in these characters. No, it's not just because I know how the story is going to turn out. I know where the story ends up. It's not just because of that. It's really because the movie didn't take the time to try to flesh out these characters. Let me find out a little bit more about them. Let me know them a little bit more. But I just didn't connect with the characters as much, and as a result, I wasn't as invested in the characters and in the movie and in the story the way it ended up. But most of these characters, I'll be honest, throughout the course of the movie, I almost forgot what their names were. That's how inconsequential they were to me. The bad guy in this movie, he's the director of the Imperial, he's the director of the space station crew that's working on the Death Star. He's fine, but you just can't help but feel like he's the third stringer. I'll explain more in my spoiler review, but suffice it to say, he gets third string treatment here. The movie got off to a bit of a choppy start. First 20 to 30 minutes, it's kind of like, okay, we're going from place to place to place to place to place to place to place. A whole lot of locations being thrown at us, a whole lot of characters just rapid fire being thrown at us. I acknowledge that I am just being a whiny, pathetic, selfish fanboy at the moment. But I wanted more Vader. I did. I wanted more Vader. I wanted to see more Vader. It's a great tease, and it's not really a flaw. It's just a nitpick from me. I know. I am well aware of what people are going to say. They're going to be like, well, this isn't called Vader 1. It's called Rogue One. There doesn't need to be that much Vader. Yeah, I get it. And again, for the movie, the amount of time that Vader was in it, it worked for the movie. I'm not saying the movie needed more Vader. I'm saying I needed more Vader. I needed more Vader. I wanted more Vader. It's been a long time since I've seen Vader, and I just wanted it. That's just me. It's not a flaw with the movie. It's a flaw with me. I'm really flawing myself at the moment. It feels grounded, and it feels like a great war movie. It's a great addition to the Star Wars universe. I fall short of calling it great just because I feel like the characterization wasn't as strong as it needed to be. I'm going to give Star Wars Rogue One the highest Man of Steel grade that I can give it. Let me know after Rogue One what's your favorite Star Wars movie now of all time. Is it this one? Is it Empire still? I mean, let me know. Comment, like, share, and subscribe. And as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.